Have you ever tried to have a playful banter with somebody, just genuinely for jokes and not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, lighten the mood, break the ice or whatever, and then that person turns around and decides to give you the most polite, kindest compliment that you have ever heard in your life, to the point where you're on the brink of tears because you're like, wow, this person is really nice. I wasn't even trying to hurt their feelings. I was just trying to have some playful banter, you know? I wasn't even trying to be a jerk. Yeah, that's what Nintendo just did to Sega. Nintendo just hit us with Matthew 5 verse 44. They literally loved their enemies in real time. They said, Sega, I love you. Now, in all reality, is this the correct way to go about something if somebody decides to be a jerk to you or belittle you and they're being serious about it? Of course, you don't want to engage in that kind of behavior. But if this is a friendly banter, a friendly rivalry, I think it's okay to throw a little bit of shade back. By this point, we know that Sega and Nintendo have a great relationship with one another. Mario and Sonic went to the Olympics together. There's a bunch of Sonic games on Nintendo Switches and on the Wii, on the Wii U. They've been in good standing with one another for years. So when I seen that Sega released this ad, I knew that it was just playful banter. It was just friendly fire. It wasn't anything to be taken seriously. It wasn't their launch at trying to tell Nintendo, hey, you guys are going down, you guys suck. It wasn't any of that. It was just one friend calling out another friend. So I'm not gonna lie, I am a little disappointed to see how Nintendo responded so professionally. You would have hoped to see them throw a jab back or something, because that's what friends do. And it's not just for the sake of having friendly fire. It's really just because I would have liked to see Nintendo have some sort of personality. It feels like they've just been void of personality for a long time. They're starting to feel like more of a soulless corporation instead of just the old Nintendo was. If Nintendo would have come out with another ad kind of pointing or throwing jabs at Sega through like a Mario Kart world or something, I wouldn't have thought much of it. I would have thought like, oh yeah, they're playing into the rivalry a little bit. Throwback to the 90s, if you will. Nothing too crazy. It would have showed that they're passionate. That, hey, okay, Sega, we see you, but we're still on top. We're still number one. We're not gonna let you take that spot back. But no, let's just keep it professional. Let's be in our suits and ties and just make sure that we're on point, that we just make sure that everybody knows we are a corporation. I've always felt like Sega is more like a DreamWorks and Nintendo is more like a Disney. Disney has been around for over a century, I think, at this point. Always been known for their princess movies, Renaissance era in the 90s. For a minute there, it's like they had the Midas touch. Everything they touched turned to gold. Every movie was a success. Disneyland was the place to be. They were the it factor in and of itself. And then you had DreamWorks, the other young up and coming movie studio that was a little more rough around the edges. They weren't afraid to go there. They were edgy, you know? They weren't as established. They made a lot of missteps. But at the end of the day, they still bounced back. And they've been able to show their fans in recent years that they actually are capable of making good movies and can still compete with Disney. The parallels between Sega and Nintendo and Disney and DreamWorks are pretty accurate if you ask me. But why do most people dislike Disney right now? Other than other obvious reasons, which I will not get into. People have been disliking Disney for the past couple of years because they feel like a soulless corporation asking for your money. It feels like Disney has been coasting for the past couple of years, similar to Nintendo. I kind of touched on this in my previous video, but where is the next Mario game? They've just been coasting off of Mario Party games, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf. We haven't had a major Mario game since 2017. You guys, I was a senior in high school. I am now 25 years old. What is going on? Companies like Disney and Nintendo have become complacent. They don't seem to have as much passion as they used to behind their movies and their games. And then when challenged to become something better or to do something good or to actually try, well, I can't speak for Disney, but Nintendo basically just rolled over. Nintendo, where's your best? I know that when it comes to video games on this channel, the topic mainly revolves around Sonic the Hedgehog, but I'm also a Nintendo fan too. The first game I played was Mario Party when me and my sister had to share a remote because, you know, there was 5 of us who played and I was the youngest, so they kind of made me and my sister share a remote and she always chose Peach. I don't like playing as Peach. But I have fond memories of Mario just like I do Sonic, so I am a fan of Nintendo too. Nintendo, please show us that you care. Show us that you don't just want our money. That's why more people are starting to side with Sega. Sega has been showing that they care. I want this rivalry back. Not because I want there to be bad blood between the two companies. I don't know how bad it got in the 90s. I'm kind of just assuming that everybody was buddy-buddy. At the end of the day, it should have been friendly competition. And if there wasn't wasn't friendly competition and that they were actually at each other's throats, then that's when it's like, all right, yeah guys, calm down, chill. I'm not asking for this rivalry to come back because I want there to be this hatred between the companies, you know. I hope nobody hates each other. That's not necessary. But I am looking for that playful, friendly rivalry that was kind of there, I guess, in the 2000s. I asked for this rivalry to come back because that's where we get the best out of both companies. Gamesmanship, the one-upping, you know. That's all I'm asking for. I'm just asking for both companies to give us their best. Sega has been doing that for the past couple of years. That's why they've come back into relevancy a little bit. Nintendo, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't feel like they've given us their best. Sure, we've gotten that through the Tears of the Kingdom and Legend of Zelda and all that. But what about with your main mascot, Super Mario? Where has he been at? You can't not give us your best and then proceed to ask us for an exorbitant amount of money for these little projects that you have. And I'm not trying to belittle those projects at all. I'm sure it took a lot to work on those games and all that, but your best was like a Super Mario Odyssey. Your best was Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 1. Where's that at? That's what we want. That's what we're asking for. And we haven't got it. So now, you know, we don't feel like you care as much as you used to, Nintendo. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. I was just sitting here yapping. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for subscribing. I'll be back with another video soon. Stay tuned.